that it's 12:30, we can start the second edition of VRANEC World Day that is going online. I would like to say a few words about the day and welcome some additional guests for today. The wine variety VRANEC is an integral part of the wine identity of the country, as well as the whole region. The uniqueness of this indigenous variety, its characteristics and potential are the basis that can be used as a platform for further promotion of the VRANEC, as well as other varieties and wines from Macedonia and in foreign markets. Every foreign wine expert and wine lover who had the opportunity to taste wine made from this variety was impressed by the deep and intense color, aromas, potential for graceful aging of these wines, their structure, character, and complexity. The Association Wines of Macedonia is the founder of the initiative and of the VRANEC World Day. Last year, 2019, was the first edition. It was an event that caused specific shift in the promotion of this potent and irresistible grape variety. The goal is quite clear. This variety, with all its unique characteristics and potential, needed to be put out in the light of the world, to be researched and to be brought to the worldwide wine scene and vineyards around the globe, considering its resistance to persistent climate changes. Last year, we hosted over 100 international wine critics, but due to the pandemics, we decided to continue this and we had to change our strategy and plan for 2020. So this year we celebrated online. We have a couple of panel discussion and master classes prepared for you today, organized by Wines of Macedonia together with our partners. So we expect more than 1,000 people to join us on the Zoom webinars for today, and we broadcast this on our Facebook page. Last year, Wines of Macedonia initiated a project called Balkan Wine Network. We established this association on 4th of October 2019. And today, in this first session, before we announce, of course, it's VRANEC World Day. I would like to say hi to greet our friends that celebrate VRANEC World Day around the world. Here in the region, we have Wine Q. Are you here? We have representatives from Podgorica, Luca, representative from the Montenegrin Sommelier Association. You can say a couple of words. Vladimir? Luca? Yes. Hello to everybody.
Hello.
Are you drinking VRANEC? I hope?
Not yet.
It's early in the day. Hello. Luca, are you there? We have friends from Pristina as well. Who is there? I believe that they have some problems. Nevertheless, we want to greet everybody. Luca, you?
Yes. Hi. VRANEC is ready.
So thank you everybody for joining. I believe that people are celebrating, and I know that they are celebrating in London, in the USA. Afterwards, that is why our session extended to later in the evening. So let's start. It is my honor to introduce the first panel session. The first panel session, it's called All About VRANEC, focused on the main wine characteristics and its potential for producing high quality wines and different styles. Mr. Dane Jovanov will moderate the event, and the speakers will be Goran, Milanov, Klime, Beleski, and Klemen, Lisjak. They will speak about the main practices in selection and scientific researches regarding the clones of VRANEC, its terroirs, which leading to the best results for healthy and high quality grape. So, Dane, I leave this session to you. Good work, and the rest of you that are attending, join the session. Unmute.
Yes, unmute. Can you hear me now? I think you can, yes. Okay, thank you, Elena. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen from around the globe, and especially from the Balkan countries. I have the honor to speak today to moderate the first panel session about all about the VRANECs. And today we will have three eminent speakers who has done a lot of research work into the field for VRANECs. But just before we go to VRANECs, I will just say a few words as an introduction about the Macedonian wine industry in general. So we have quite developed wine industry where grape production represents important branch of the agricultural industry. And together with the wine productions, it accounts for around 17 to 20% from the agricultural GDP. And besides that, the wine has the first position in the export of alcoholic drinks and takes second place behind tobacco in the export of agricultural products. In Republic of Macedonia, we have vineyards area at around approximately 33,000 hectares, whereas the distribution of the grapes is 50-50, which means 50% is red and 50% is white grapes, respectively. We have harvest on annual level. It varies up to 270,000 tons in 3 wine regions and in 16 wine districts. From these grapes, it is produced up to 120 million liters. Again, this depends from season to season. And we are around 25th country in the world by wine production. Over the last few decades in Macedonia, the wine sector has seen a huge, I would say, huge turnaround of the previous position characterized by lack of investing in the vineyards, of the primary winemaking equipment, which often affected wine quality. But the turnaround has been done primarily given by a strong investment process that allowed investors with access to significant financing to take control of wineries and to invest a lot of funds, and also with the emergence of new small wineries that were focused on producing of high quality wines. The VRANECs in these vineyards, of course, we have in these investments, there was a lot of rebuild of VRANECs vineyards, and VRANECs as a word, it means a strong, black and powerful horse, black stallion, and wine made from this grape variety is associated with strength, potency, and success. Also, Vran, just Vran means raven colored or black, and that is why in the Balkan countries, this wine is called not only red, but also black wine. Now, in time of crisis, it is, I think, the right time to be more developed and dedicated to have one, I would say, a platform, regional platform to show to the world that we are different, unique, and that with this strength that we have with the VRANECs, I think that we can make a new place in the world to have globally recognition about the VRANECs, and that of course can be done with this very important initiative, the World Day of VRANECs, which is now second year consecutively. So our goal is not just for Republic of Macedonia, but the whole countries from the region to benefit from the promotion from the wines created from the VRANECs cultivar, and of course to open the door for all the other autochthonous and local cultivars from the Balkan Peninsula to the world wine market. Now we will go with the more in depth with the VRANECs, and as I mentioned before, for today we have 3 speakers: Professor Klime Beleski, Professor Goran Milanov, and Professor Klemen Lisjak from the Wine Research Institute from Ljubljana, from Slovenia. But in last changes due to unexpected call of Professor Beleski, he is not able to attend today's webinar, and I will take his place in explaining a little bit about the agrobiological characteristics and the viticulture specifics about the VRANEC as a cultivar. So just to share the screen that everybody can see. So we explained a little bit about what VRANEC word means, and it is originated, and it's a autochthonous variety for the Montenegro. It's originated in Montenegro. It is from the Black Sea group, Convarietes pontica, and the subgroup is Balkan subgroup, Subconvarietes balkanica. Also, there is some synonyms about the VRANEC, like VRANEC crmnički, in Serbia and Montenegro, VRANEC prhljavac, in Macedonia it's called often Kratošija and VRANEC, and that is due to the fact that in Macedonia, in every vineyard of VRANEC, around 10% always is Kratošija as a natural breeding, and also in Kratošija vineyards, you can find between 5 and 10% of VRANEC inside. In Macedonia, VRANEC is produced as VRAN-ec, so in our native language. With the latest research activities of the Institute of Wine and Wine Science in Spain, they managed to prove that with the crossing between Kratošija and Dulenga is originated VRANEC as a cultivar. Today, VRANEC is planted on 3,600 hectares in Montenegro. Serbia has 120 hectares. Kosovo has near to 500 hectares. Bosnia and Herzegovina have 450 hectares. And Republic of Macedonia is the big big leader on the Balkan Peninsula, which is accounting for near to 11,000 of hectares in our country. In almost, VRANEC is planted in almost every wine growing area along the Vardar River Valley. And it's not representing just the red type, but it's also representing in general, the Macedonian red type of wines. The ampelographic characteristic is that you can see that the grape is medium to large. It has cylindrical and a wide base, and the weight of one cluster is around between 250 and 300 grams. And the skin is medium and dark blue, where 86% of the distribution is for flesh, seeds is around 4%, and skin is 10%. It often ripens in the second half of September, and this year, due to the prolonged, rains, it's a little bit 2 weeks behind. In the agrobiological characteristics, Republic of Macedonia, so it's between 6.5 grams of total acidity. Whereas, as we mentioned before, the anthocyans in the wine are above 500 milligrams because it's a wine which is quite intensive, especially when it's young, but also later when it's evolving. It has a lot of anthocyans in the wine. Also, the rootstock is quite important, of course, for every cultivar, but for the VRANEC also it's very, very important, where you can see that the Teleki 5C has quite a good result with the total phenols of 3,200 milligrams on average, and the anthocyans around 470, and also the fercal is with the highest, we can see phenolic content in grapes, around 3,750 milligrams. As a conclusions, we can say that For VRANECs, we must have selected micro-location using modern agrotechnics, and also to future and to follow all the agrobiological and technological parameters. And these are one of the, I would say, the two prerequisites for the premium wines for the VRANECs. And also the clonal selection has to do a lot with the quality of the primary of the grapes, and of the wines produced from this variety are very easily recognizable. But now I will give the floor to Professor Klemen Lisjak from Slovenia, who has done a lot of also a lot of scientific research in the VRANECs. And Klemen, good day. Do you hear me?
Hello, everybody, and
welcome to the session.
Yeah, thank you for invitation. I'm glad to be with you, and I will now share a screen.
Klemen, you're expert in doing a lot of scientific researches. And before we continue, I would like to ask you just a few questions, and of course, then we will proceed. I would like to hear more about what is, in your opinion and based on your research, what is the main characteristics of the VRANEC polyphenol profile, because you do a lot of analysis on that, and how this is comparing, let's say, to other varieties, especially with Cabernet, Merlot, and other red varieties. Furthermore, I would like to ask you, in your opinion, how to approach in the best way to research about what is the vineyard influence on grapes, and what is the wine characteristics in this area, and how to get proper conclusion, because the positions in the vineyards, it's very important, exposition, altitude, elevation, and what are your conclusions in this field, and what you have done in the research based on your experience, what is the best way to implement it into the practice?
Thank you. So yeah, VRANEC is very, very interesting variety, because it's a very lot of anthocyanins, and this is, I would say, very good advantages, not just due to nice and heavy, this dark red color to the wine, but also it has this nutritional effect, because we know anthocyanins are polyphenols, they have positive effects on the health. So this is, I would say, the first thing. So maybe I would talk through my presentation, but at the moment I cannot share the screen. So Dane, if you can share.
Okay, I have your presentation as well. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
Just let me in a moment.
Okay, so yeah,
I will share it now.
Yeah, thank you. Due to research cooperation with Tikves Winery that we have for maybe 10-15 years already now, we started, I would say, eight years ago, even more. We started some more details research on VRANECs. So what we did is actually the aim was to compare this variety. If we take a look to polyphenol profile comparing to other varieties, and the second aim was to see the influence of vineyard. So we are interested what each vineyard that we selected is giving us, what kind of polyphenol profile, what kind of tannins in the skins and seeds, and how to use it in the practice. So the vineyards that we were selecting were across Vardar River wine growing region, so from Veles to Barovo, and we picked 8 vineyards that we take grapes from this vineyard at the time of harvest. So from each vineyard we took a grape in triplicate and performed this detailed polyphenol profiles. You can see here how these analyses are done. We are using international method where we separate skins and seed. We put in simil wine solution. So it means that we extract from seeds and skins in alcoholic solution, 12%, pH 3.2 for 5 days at 30 degrees. So we are actually mimic vinification process, but we don't have influence of yeast or fermentation and so on. We are just interested what the vineyard or variety is giving us at the time of harvest. Here in this slide, we see total anthocyanins by different vintages. So 2012, 13, and so on. We can see that VRANEC, it has maybe 30, 40, or 50% more anthocyanins. So we know anthocyanins are molecules that give us this red color, red pigments. And we see it's much more rich in anthocyanins comparing to Kratoschia, Cabernet, Merlot, Plavets, and so on. So it's I would say variety with the best color in the region.
So 2012 was here by far the best year for VRANEC.
Yeah, you can see also the influence of the vintage. Yeah, so 2012 has the highest, and then it's following by 2016 and 13 is the highest. Sorry. Yeah. And then if we go on with the next slide, we have tannins. So these are high molecular mass tannins. They are bigger molecules coming from the skins and seeds. So this is actually the serum of skin and seed tannins coming to this simil-wine solution, and we analyze it. And here again, if we take a look separately by the vintage, we can see that VRANEC is still the powerful on tannins comparing to other varieties. So it has not just a lot of anthocyanins, but also very good tannic potential.
Yeah, which gives greater longevity, I presume.
Exactly. Tannins give us, they're responsible for astringency, for fullness, structure of wine, longevity, aging potential, and so on. And then if we go to next slide, Dane, yeah. Yep. So we were interested what each parcel is giving us. So what is the terroir of this vineyard that we were selecting?
Klemen, we lost you for a minute. Can you just go a little bit back with what you said?
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So we were analyzing each year from 2012 to 2017 all basic analysis of these grapes and all polyphenol profiles, so separately seeds and skins, and we were trying to compare this with the soil. So in the next slide you will see what was our idea. So on the one side we have grapes, on the other side we have a soil profile. We analyzed, we described the soil profile and try to get information. Is there any influence from that soil profile to the polyphenol profile of the VRANEC? It's quite complex. We have to do it many years, and the vintage effect, it has a very big influence. So in coming slide, you will see first the soil. So we have very different type of soil in Vardar region or around the Tikves wine growing area. So from sandy soil in Lepovo, we have these plates in Demirkapia and this carbonate underground soil in Disan. So each very different, but somehow we try to understand what is why is the differences. And when we put all analytical data together, we can see that each vintage is separately very nice. So we have to, when we study, we have to study vintage by vintage, not all vintages together, but we have to study each vintages because each vintage has a bigger influence than the location. So, but anyhow, when we pull together all data in the table in the next slide, we found out some interesting correlation. If we go back, Dane, that for example, the percent of clay in the soil is positive correlated with the malic acid with mass of 100 berries, and more sand, it means higher sugar, higher pH, and less mass of 100 berries. So, for example, if we have more sand in the soil, we know that grape maturation is faster, and we have also effect then on tannins and all chemical biochemical data of grapes. In the slide that you see here, there are typical texture of different vineyards around Tikves wine growing region. So we see Lepovo and Babuna and Demirkapia has a little bit more percentage of sand. And in these parcels, in this vineyard, we found more tannins in the skins, a bit less in the seeds. And then in other vineyards where we have more silt, we have more tannins in the seeds and so on. So somehow we want to know why some vineyards is giving always very good wines or very good results, why some other vineyards are more interested for good aging potential, long aging potential, and why the other vineyards are more interested for better anthocyanins in the grapes and in the wine. Yeah, we saw that somehow good correlation. We found every year soft tannins in Lepovo, in Babuna Veles, in Demirkapia, and so on. While in other vineyards with more clay or more silt, we have more tannins from the seeds and gives us a little bit more robust wine, but very, very good aging potential. So, as I said, when we pull data separately by vintages, there's some vineyards coming out that are more correlated with higher tannins in the seeds. For example, Disan, Barovo. These two positions are also highly elevated. For example, Disan is 420 meters above the sea level. Barovo is 500 meters above the sea level. So it's not just the soil, but also climate. But anyhow, this is the results what we get at the time of harvest. No.
Yeah.
And just to conclude, yeah, very important for VRANEC for long aging potential is that has really mature dark brown color, because this gives us softer tannins and nicer tannins. And this is also, it's not just varietal aspect, it's coming from different soil, it's coming from climate, and also from viticulture aspect. So it's very important how we do in the vineyards, and this is one of I would say challenge in the future to give or to put some standards to the vineyards to say for this range of this style of wine we will have 7 tons per hectare, for the other we will have 9, and so on. So I think this is a challenge for the whole region in the future. So to connect,
work on the mindset on the farmers, and yeah.
And yeah, our aim and our idea, together with some project that we got recently, is to analyze as many as possible vineyard soil and put it in the database. And in coming years, maybe in 5-10 years, we will have maybe 1,000 soil analysis done, and we can see, we can do very precise mapping of the region, what kind of soil is in that vineyard, because this is important for style of the wine. It's important for future plantings, which variety or which rootstock, and so on. So it's a lot of challenges to do in coming years.
Yeah. Okay, Klemen, thank you. But just before we proceed with Goran, I would just like to ask you about 220 vintage. How was VRANEC this year? What is your view?
It was difficult year, I would say, because in August, there was about 200 millimeters of rain, and then the VRANEC was just in the stage that a lot of water was uptaken into the berries and start to burst, you know. So
yeah, very burst and
yeah,
botrytis.
exploding, and then it was already sugar inside. So we had some problems with botrytis, but with the good selection in the vineyard, just taking the best grapes, we managed to handle it.
How did you select? You did, I know, some analysis with the grapes prior to intake, or how it was done?
Actually, depends on the style, or the best position this year was where there was no irrigation, for example. So taking just VRANEC from upper, more drier part, and older vines. Older vines has lower, smaller bunch.
Yeah.
Then for classic region, or every I would say tractor coming into the winery was tested by gluconic acid. So selection already at the reception, that you can see the percentage of botrytis. So I would say another challenge is for VRANEC is to find a clone with not that compact bunches, because this will be quite problematic if this scenario is coming next year and after. So,
yep.
And we get also good results with another trellising system, which is this. I know in Italian it's cordone speronato. So I don't know in English.
Cordon, royal cordon. Yeah.
Where you get a little bit slower bunches than comparing to normal Gio, and also bunches are not that compact.
Yeah. Okay, Klemen, thank you for your in-depth presentation. Greetings to everybody in our friendly Slovenia. And now I will pass the floor to Professor Goran Milanov from Macedonia. Goran is also one of the best experts in our country for VRANEC. Good afternoon, Professor Milanov. And
hello.
What is VRANEC for you? I will start like this.
VRANEC for us is everything, you know. We'll talk about that later, but first of all, hello and good afternoon to all of you who are actually online on this VRANEC World Day webinar. I'm going to give info about the production of the wine coming from the grape variety VRANEC. But before we are going to that, I would like to give some timeline of recent history about the Macedonian winemaking, let's say. So we actually, it's not ancient history, it's a recent history where, as you can see, we started planting new vineyards in the 90s and 50s. So there was big volumes of grape, huge amount of grape. So the yields, actually, we have big volumes of wine at that time. So the big volumes means that we have lower quality, and the wine was actually export like a bulk wine in European countries. So after that, 20, 30 years after that, after the privatization of the big wineries and breakdown of Yugoslavia, so many of the wineries started to invest in the vineyards and also in the technology. So they increase the quality of the wine. So more wineries come to the Macedonian wine scene. So we are starting to produce actually the highest level, higher quality of the wines. And we, at that time, we started to get some awards on the famous wine fairs. So that was some breakdown to the world wine market, actually. So why Macedonian VRANEC? Let's say we talked about this variety. We are saying it's really special and recognizable and different from the other wine varieties. Because most often, the suggestions that we are receiving from the experts who come to Macedonia are that it always lights up when you offer something different and unknown, but local and authentic. Why I'm saying this? Because famous brands like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and others are present all over the world, and the global offer is really serious. But hence the advantages of offering something new, well-made and well-packaged like VRANEC is totally different. The VRANECs or the wines produced from this grape variety have a really great potential. Of course, if they are obtained from vineyards and plantations with low grape yields, and of course, correct and adequate applied technology in the winery and maturation and aging of the wine. So they are characterized by intense purple ruby color, fruity aromas, rich in extract and alcohol, with a full and round taste. So, as Dane said, the word VRANEC means stroke black and powerful horse, like we said, black stallion. And the wine made from this variety of grape is associated with strength, potency, and success. As we say in Macedonia, we don't have red wine, we have black wine because of the color of the skin of the VRANECs. Okay, so also I must put this like key features. There is a large differences in the quality of wines in our country from this variety, and it depends of course of the yield. And if the yield is too high, more more than 20 tons per hectare of grapes, the wine will be with less alcohol. They will be weaker in color and which poor potential and mainly intended for export in bulk, unlike wines obtained from vineyards where you have yield reduction and proper agrotechnic measurements and everything, which are characterized with great potential, color, aroma, concentration suitable for long aging and competitive and certain markets where quality is valued. So regarding the applied technology in the winery, it's necessary to know that during the wine production, some specifics in relation to certain procedures should be observed, which refers to the often low content of nitrogen, like substances, like element, which is consistent in the grapes. And that's why maybe it can cause some problems during the fermentation. That's happened usually if you have a big crop. So it means that the nitrogen, the quantity of the nitrogen in the berry will be very low. So it means that requires often during the alcoholic fermentation, often addition of complex nutrients. When you say complex nutrient, this means that you are adding the organic type of nitrogen, alpha amino acids, and also you are adding the unorganic type of nitrogen like ammonium salts. So that is one of the problems that can cause stuck fermentation or stop fermentation during the alcoholic fermentation. The second specific, let's say, for the production of VRANEC wine is low pH value of the juice. Usually, this can cause problem if you are doing malolactic fermentation during the alcoholic. So the low pH will need the selected malolactic bacteria. Otherwise, it will undergo. So it means that you will have at the end remaining malic acid. So you have to do malolactic fermentation after the alcoholic fermentation, what we are calling sequential malolactic fermentation. But these high acids are maybe genetically, we are not sure, but usually in VRANEC grape, you have 6 and more grams per liter of acids, total acids, which means that maybe 2 or 3 grams usually are malic acids. So that's that can cause maybe some reductive problems and so on. Another, it's not a problem, but we have to be very careful if we are doing VRANECs, yes, is greater need for and oxygen management during alcoholic fermentation. It's not like the other grape varieties. You need micro-oxygenation during all the operations you are doing during winemaking, like pumping over or pigeage or delastage. So it needs more oxygen. Otherwise, it will go in reduction and you will have some problems. Concerning the alcoholic fermentation and maceration usually lasts from 7 to 14 days. So we can choose depending of the wine we want to create, depending of the market where we're selling our wine. So we divide it on several, this maceration, we actually divide it on short maceration, 2 to 3, 4 days maximum. We say short maceration up to 10 days. 10 to 20, it's a long maceration, and prolonged or extended maceration, which can go more than 40 days and so on. So depending of the market, as I say, and the quality, first quality of the grape, you are using this type of operation to create your wine. If you are doing longer or extended maceration, several weeks, it means that you have very well mature grape. So it means that after that, the wine will go and age and mature in oak barrels. In general, during the past years, a large number of research have been performed on VRANECs, but most of them refer to the influence of the grape yield on the quality of the wine, length of maceration on the phenolics, compounds and sensory profile of the wine, and the role of the oak wood for aging in barrels. So, just a second.
You should go to the next.
Yeah, can I continue? Yeah. If there is some questions, Dana, you can.
Goran, you have a lot of experience with VRANECs. Also, you have in the past you have made quite awarded VRANECs wines. What does it take as a conclusion, let's say, on your explanation? What does it take to create super VRANECs?
Super VRANECs. I mean, it's very difficult to give just a simple conclusion how to do that. Many factors are involved to make this to make a big VRANECs wine. But first of all, we have to concentrate it in the vineyard to make a good potential of the grape. Good.
As it said that the wine is born in the vineyard.
It's a basic for creation a big VRANECs. So just briefly, if we are going too much, then it will not be interesting.
Yeah.
So if you have a big crop, big yield, then you have unmatured phenolic that the seed at the semen, the Klemen says before, will remain green. When the seed is green, then you don't have phenolic that you need. You have flavantriols that are phenolics, which gives the expression of bitterness and dryness. So when you make wine from this kind of type of grape, you will receive just bitter and dry wine and nothing else. If your grape is very well matured, it's a cluster reduction, so you have enough clusters and grape on per hectare, let's say, not too much, but enough. It means that it can mature well, the seeds can mature well. And why I'm saying seed? Because 65% and more of the phenols are concentrated in the seed. So if we have dark brown seed, then we have a good potential to have not monomers, not flavantriols, catechins, but the other forms, because when they do polymerization, they become from monomers, dimers, trimers, oligomers, and we, at the end, we are saying condensed tannins. Condensed tannins gives this expression of softness, of something that we need. That's how we made big and great wines. So if you have unmature grape at the beginning, you have to deal with to take out the seeds immediately after the first delastrage, or if you cannot do that, just to cover with a lot of tannins to not to be expressed the bitterness and the dryness.
In the dryness of the tannin.
Key of the how to work depending on the grape quality.
Yeah. And then what is just as a final and just very briefly about the oak integration with VRANEC's wine? Yes,
also I would like to point about the reduction.
Briefly, because we are very low on time.
Okay. We have done a lot of research. Rule of oak is always important. If you manage to produce the wine which is heavy, meaning good potential in alcohol, in extract, in phenols, and everything, then it's recommended to go to mature and in oak barrels. In our country, in Macedonia, we're dealing with French oak, with American oak. Some wineries experiment with Macedonian oak, but generally French and American. So just
give the best result. Yeah.
What is the profile of the wine if you go in the French or in the American? So the French oak, the composition of the oak, it's more phenolic, meaning more elagitannins and more vanilla. So the structure of the wood is so that the wine can extract these compounds directly. So if you are aging in French, more structure, more phenols, more tannins. Definitely.
And in American?
In American, it's more fresh oak, more totally different aroma, but not so strong, not so phenolic, not so extract. Yeah. It will be more oak lactons. We say oak lactons like fresh oak and cocos and something like that.
And we received a question. I just saw it briefly. What would be like this in terms of longevity and cellaring potential of wine produced with reduced yield, with proper vinification, aged in barrels? What is your opinion?
I mean, we can combine this. We can talk about this. As I mentioned, if you have even unmature grape, and if you are going with a short maceration, you will have more color and more freshness and more fruitiness. But that wine intends to go immediately on the market. If you have good potential from the grape and you are dealing with extended maceration, then definitely you need more time in oak for 1 or 2 years. So depending what's your key point, what's your market, and what's your thinking and idea.
And I want to ask you just the both of you, because you also have international, expertise in the field, because here on the Balkan Peninsula, there is this tendency to produce super heavy wines, which means high in alcohol, high in extract, a lot of oakiness to the palate, to the nose. And how do you see the trend changing in terms of producing wines which are with lower alcohol, which are not that robust, but just easy drinkable? And where do you see the change, and how do you see this change? I would start with Klemen and then with Goran. Klemen, you should turn the microphone.
Okay, can we hear?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have to little bit move down from this too heavy, too oaky, too alcoholic, too structure or over-structured wines to little bit more elegant wines. So I think
what is the trends now? What is generally the trends in Europe and US? Also,
I can say for Slovenia. In Slovenia, people don't like too much oaky. They like nice integrated oak, but not too much. And the trend it's not to have it too alcoholic. So I would say
also think the same applies for UK, for Netherlands, for this international
probably European trend. No, so people don't want to consume too alcoholic wine. So I think we have to take care on alcohol level, but sometimes it's very difficult to do like this, because if you want good phenolic ripeness, you have to wait, and once you wait, the sugar
the grapes will
go up and you have too much alcohol. So I think some other technique should be applied. We will see in future what will be in vineyards or in the winery, how to manage this in order to have good tannins, but not too much alcohol in the wines.
Thank you, Klemen. Professor Milanov, your opinion on this?
I totally agree with Clement about that. I think that the European and world market is more oriented to fresh, smooth, elegant wines, not tannic wines, not oaky wines. But always will be some tannic and oaky, but the percentage of presence on the market will be less than we expected. But generally speaking, yes, the first class of the wine will be always present on the market.
Okay.
It's very difficult, definitely, because in Macedonia we have a lot of let's say wines with a potential, but they are very tannic, and they have to wait. The problem is not to make tannic wines, to be elegant and have everything inside. So that's the key point in the technology. Applied technology.
Applied technology paired with a little bit lower alcohol content in the in the wine.
But always we are saying, due to the global warming, we have a lot of sugar and less phenolic maturity. So how to combine, how to make it to happen, how to make the wine with less alcohol and good structure phenolic. That's the problem, and that's where we have to do our work,
and
in the future.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just to thank you to both panelists.
We have a couple of questions on the chat. Regarding the last topic, Ekaterina asks, have you tried to achieve this kind of run? It's no oak, low alcohol.
Low oak, low alcohol.
No oak?
No oak, without oak and with a little bit low alcohol. Yeah. With lower alcohol, yeah. Like 12.5, 13.
Yes. There are wineries who actually produce that. But it goes very fast. The wines intend to go very fast. They are not for aging.
They don't have longevity and aging potential with low.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So there are different styles. That's why we discuss about different style. That style, meaning that there's a short maceration, we have a lot of color, we have freshness, we have fruitiness, not tannic expression, and that wine have to go immediately. So it's not with the aging potential.
And we have another question, Goran. What kind of toasting level is suitable for VRANECs in French and American oak?
So it's a long topic story. If you are doing with low level, you will extract something else. If you are going with medium and hard, as you know, more spiciness, less tannic. So it depends. It is okay for any winery if they are equipped with all of them. So the mix may be the best.
Yeah. And we have another question.
You have to make trials with all of them. So
I would say it's not just toasting. Here we have to take care also the fine grain or coarse grain. What kind of oak?
Yeah, the density and
exactly. We have very good results with coarse grain on VRANECs, not just fine grain. So it's still a lot to do and to research on the oak, but I'm sure that oak is needed and it's giving some positive aspect to the wine. Just know how to not to overcome, not to over oaky, and what kind of oak to use.
Okay, and the final question would be, we have from Zvonko, can you list or what is in your opinion some of the more exceptional terroir of the VRANECs in Macedonia, and how this affect the wine style?
If I start, as I already mentioned, for now we have very good results with location from Lepovo, Babuna, and Demirkapia, because it's more drainy soil. It's not too much clay. It's a little bit more sandy. So I think to get very good, the best VRANEC wine, it's location. You know, location, three times location. It's like buying apartment in the city. You know.
In the city, yeah.
So this is the first thing. If you plant it somewhere where it's very fertile, you can work a lot in the winery. Still, you will not get that good results as the best position. That's why this research on terroir, on location, is very important. But it takes time, takes years. It's not you can not do it in 1 or 2 years.
1 or 2 years, yeah. And Goran, your opinion on this?
Dane, you know better than me that the region is not so important, that the micro locations are most important for the VRANEC. So in Negotino, Disan, or in Veles, several locations, or in the near Strumica also, in Demirkapia also. So there is a micro location. There is a not huge planting of VRANEC, I mean, for the best type of the VRANEC.
Yeah. And we have the final question from our friends from the wine club from Belgrade. They are asking how is VRANEC blending with other international varieties? How does it blend?
Yeah, if I start, I would say it blends very well, and maybe in future, the future is about the blend. So I think VRANEC, you know, it's quite, could be robust, could be, you know, sometimes over tannic, and some other varieties like Syrah or Plavec or even Merlot, it can soften the taste and it's more pleasurable. Maybe for young generation could be this one. This could be one of the way in the future. Why not blends? No, so for me,
to bring more complexity to the wine
and drinkability, complexity, and different styles.
Professor Milanov?
Yeah, definitely the brand, the future, not monovarietal, and VRANEC is very suitable to be in the mix with Cabernet Sauvignon, with the Merlot, with Syrah, and all the varieties that we have in Macedonia. So maybe like 50% VRANEC and the other 50% all the others will be a good combo for start.
Okay, I would like to thank you both of you for your...
Dane, we have Exotic Wine Travel, our friends,
yes,
that are usually coming to visit Macedonia and the
greetings
region.
to them. Yes, I know them.
They are now promoted to panelists. They raise their hand. I suppose that they have some question.
Go ahead.
Can you listen to me? Last year they were present.
Who is asking, Matthew or Charin? Because I cannot see it here.
They raised their hand and I promote them to panelists. So, yeah, we had another question.
No, they don't have questions.
No, okay. Okay, greetings to them. As I mentioned in the beginning, people all around the world are celebrating this day. Today we are together celebrating VRANEC. Again, greetings from Macedonia to our friends in the region that are producing VRANEC. It is important to mention it's Macedonia is a leading producer of VRANEC with near 11,000 hectares, then followed by Montenegro, Serbia, Kosovo, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. So I would like to invite you, thank you very much to all of you, thank you. I would like to invite everybody to the second session that will start from 2 p.m. and it will last until 3 p.m. We will discuss with Robert Joseph. Moderator will be Thomas Brendel. They will discuss about digitalization of wine sales and best marketing practices for promoting local varieties worldwide. Then the third session will be from 5:30 to 6:30. Wine trade under Corona and challenges for sale wines from local grape varieties on international markets. And at the end of the day, from 7 p.m. until 8 p.m., masterclass that will be held by Caroline Gilby. So I wish everybody pleasant day and enjoy the rest of VRANEC World Day content. Greetings, everybody.
Thank you, bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.